first and foremost, I always feel like this needs to be said. So, and yes, I do have side notes off to the side of me, and if I'm looking off a lot, those are my notes. So, as a killer main, win or lose, that's on me because I can't even in the current state of Dead by Daylight, I can't afford to make any mistake. I can't afford to take a chase too long. I can't afford to not watch games. I can't afford to not get hooked. I can't afford to slug. I can't afford to camp. I can't afford to tunnel because of the current state that they put it in. So, and the thing with that is, I can break down my mistakes, adjust my strategy, swap perks, go into the next game better than I was in the current game. I'm not having to rely on three other people to save me, unhook me, or correct me for my misplays. I would rather succeed or fail on my own terms, and that's why I'm actually more of a killer man than I am survivor man. Because I don't really like team games. Yes, I understand Modern Warfare 2 and things like that are team-based games because you have to help your team win. I just feel like Killer is more challenging because it is you're having to adapt to new killers and new chapters. You're constantly making decisions, pressure, routing, mid, mind games, macro strategy. Survivor gameplay, on the other hand, often boils down to running the same perks, running life or sprint burst or endurance perks, or looping heavy pallet areas. And thing about that is, it's like I kind of feel like that there's far less debt compared to learning multiple killer kits and adapting on the fly. Because regardless if behavior releases a new killer, killers are constantly having to adapt to that new killer. If they have a new map, then they're having to adapt to that new map, get to know that new map. But once they start to nerf these killers, we're having to readapt. Same with the Skull Merchant, Houndmaster, Springtrap, Krasu. Any minor change that they make to the killers that they release and they nerf it, we're having to constantly adapt. And I honestly think what it really is, I don't think it is. I don't think that it's killer anxiety. I think it's more of frustration, and we're getting tired. We're pretty much. I can't speak for everybody, and I'm not really speaking for myself because I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy this game, but I mean, yeah, sometimes the killer gameplay can get toxic, but let's be honest, we're using the in-game mechanics that was given to us. Had this been an issue from the get-go, they would have never put it in thing, and they would have already implemented it early on in the games upon its release. They didn't know that this was actually going to be the issue, and it's been the issue since release, especially from the time that what is it? Even when a bomb released, killers couldn't kick gems, so that's where you get your slugging from and your camping from, things like that. It wasn't really as bad as it was before, but if you look at my some of my pig games or my Houndmaster games or and like that, you could literally see that I benefit that some of these kills benefit better off of camping, tunneling, and slugging because you're gonna have to apply pressure somehow, and plenty of killers rely on pressure tactics and to function against the coordinated teams. But the real question really is behavior too busy hand holding survivors to make their wins easier, or we just killing rings over dramatic, or is it the same, or are we just simply exhausted from constantly having to adapt to balance changes aimed to helping the other side that already has safety nets and second chances, and killers are just pretty much left in the dirt. So, like I said before, and I do want to make it known, I do have my side notes because I'm not going to be able to remember none of this. and it's a brain thing. I will not be able to remember anything else. But simply said, are we exhausted from having to constantly adapt to these balance changes that only benefit one side and does not benefit the other side? Because I don't know how it would work, but I feel like we would at least need either. I feel like Nemesis would be a good base kit perk for some killers, but give base kit to some killers, not all of them, not your S tier killers. No, I'm not saying that, but it is kind of getting exhausting to constantly adapt and then going into a round, seeing that those changes actually are benefiting more of the survivor side than it is the killer side. So let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll try to make a follow up video eventually. But like I said, I don't really think it's killer anxiety. I think it's more of killer mains being exhausted. See y'all in the next video.